very not chaotic of sorts, but just very busy in real life. So, as some of you may have noticed, I've been kind of absent from the daily streaming. Last week we only covered the house tours episode, which I was adamant about making sure that that was continued on. But besides that, I've just been super, super busy. My son's on vacation right now, so and I was a little ill last week. I've been having a lot of headaches and stuff, so and then of course I fell and hurt my hand, which didn't help matters. So there's just lots and lots of things going on, and I just haven't had a good window of time to come and sit down and chat with you guys. Let me do a tweet real quick before I forget. I am very forgetful about that. Those of you that watch me regularly know that I'm very bad about it. So I just want to put that in. Also, I want to, do my part in making announcements. When there's housing-related stuff going on, I try to kind of mention it so that even if it doesn't directly affect anything here on Javit's side, I still want to give a shout out to those that are contributing to the housing community. So on that note, just a reminder that the Nexus Construction League, or NCL, they are hosting their first annual housing competition, and they've been accepting entries for a while now, but the deadline is this Sunday, February 14th. So you have just a few more days to officially enter your home. I think there's like kind of a late day clause where they will allow participants to submit their homes after that for a period of time, but you won't be guaranteed the full visitation time, because I think what I read was they've got about 30 entries so far, and I think they were allotting 30 minutes minimum to each plot. So that's quite a big installment of time that they're having to, sort out for the judges. And so yeah, if if you submit your house later than that, obviously they're going to not spend as much time on your home. They're not going to guarantee the 30-minute kind of thing. I think it would be more like 10, 15 minutes or something like that. Good morning, Bones. Glad you could join us. So anyway, that's Sunday, 14th of February. That is the last day for the official sign-ups, and I believe they will begin judging either that day or the day after, and however long it takes them to get through all of the entries. I figure there's going to be a lot of last-minute entries. For whatever reason, folks like to kind of save it for the last. Maybe they don't want people coming and spying on their entry or whatever, and getting ideas and that kind of thing. So they kind of wait till the last minute, and so they may end up with quite a bundle of homes to go through. I do know that they were having trouble with some of the prizes for Exile side. I think they're primarily on Dominion side, so a lot of the prizes that they were intending to give, like music tracks and things like that, aren't going to transfer over easily if they happen to have a good number of Exile winners. But I think they're working out some type of plat exchange. They thought about maybe just, I guess, picking out items themselves and then giving them. But this way, if you get plat, then you can kind of buy whatever you're wanting. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just kind of tough when you have faction restrictions and region restrictions. It just makes these kind of large community events a little bit more cumbersome. There have been folks that have managed it in the past, but it takes a lot of coordination, like Venus Rising's event that they held last time. They had to have people on both sides of the coin working certain aspects of it, and just to save postage and everything on the physical items that were given out and that kind of stuff. So it just takes a lot more planning and cooperation from certain individuals to be able to make that kind of thing work. So, you know, maybe it's something that will become easier down the road as we go. Anyway, we're back today on my mains plot. And as the title indicates, we're going to be reworking the walls of the art gallery. I started out with using the same materials that I've got for the building out here, the hover park pieces, and I'm keeping some of it, but I think I like the way, well, you'll see that the changes that I've made is a little bit more suited to a gallery style kind of. It just, the pictures pop a little better on the white. So I'm using the hover park pieces more as kind of a trim and the stairway, just because it's easier to handle. And then I'm boxing it in with this whitish kind of bit. And you'll see it's just a lot of trophies stacked up. They're easy to obtain. Well, I say easy. They're purchasable from, oh gosh, honestly, I don't remember which vendor I got it from. It's one of the Reputation vendors. It's relatively cheap. Used to be obtained through a rather, I wouldn't say difficult, but you know, a lot of the challenges is just kind of a pain to have to go to the zone, do the challenge, and then maybe get the item that you're wanting. And now that they've moved a lot of those challenge-related decor to the vendors, it's just much easier to obtain exactly what you're wanting. Yes, it does cost a little bit of money for it, but it's worth it. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm building up an inner wall kind of thing, just based because of the size of the gears. I decided it's going to be kind of like a little island, and it's going to extend up. I'm just going to take it all the way up, so it's going to be kind of like a donut kind of gallery. You'll go around on both the bottom floor and the top floor. And I'm sticking with the glass. It's a thin material. It makes the room feel larger, in my opinion, without boxing it in too much. If I had an actual solid ceiling here, I think it would really make it feel a little bit more cramped. So we're going to go with that. As well, you'll notice I've used one really big light source. It's actually an orange chandelier up top, because I want this well lit. I thought about, you know, maybe doing like a lot of galleries, they kind of spotlight each individual thing, but since we're kind of limited on our light sources and how that works, I didn't think that would be very practical in the long run. Maybe with the first few I could do that, but then as I keep adding more and more, that'll be less feasible. So you can see how well these look against the white, and then these over here against the dark. I just think that they pop a little better on the white. So I'm going to be removing this and moving, you know, relocating these to some of the white walls. But for now, I was just working on this centerpiece here. I do want to talk about what we're going to be covering in the coming days. For the daily thing like we're doing now, it'll probably be just the gallery, making sure I get it all set up like I want. But tomorrow we're going to be doing house tours, and it's Dominion's turn. And amazingly enough, I have a surplus of homes that I'd like to tour. So I'm having to pick and choose which ones. I mean, usually I'm struggling to find just, you know, 2 or 3, and now I've got, I think, 6 or 7 in the queue. So that's exciting, because that means, you know, there's more people opening up their homes or that are, you know, delving into the housing thing. And it's really exciting that, you know, on top of that, we're having all of these announcements of upcoming content and the prospect of having more involvement of people, and it's just looking up as far as hoping that that means more houses, even more down the road, which will be fantastic. So But yeah, tomorrow's Dominions, and then probably, uh, well, soon, I'm hoping soon, they're going to start letting us have access to some of the new content on the PTR, and that means if I can either find homes that have some on display or get a hold of some of the new decor on myself, I will be showcasing some of that. Uh, then, of course, this weekend is Valentine's weekend, and that means that my Valentine's plot that I've been working on, we'll be able to take a up close look at that, probably starting next week. The guild event that it was actually built for will be hosted this Saturday, so I don't want to get into that just yet. Um, while I don't think most of my guildmates really pay attention to my stream, there are a few that sometimes, once in a blue moon, they'll come and take a peek, and I don't want to ruin the surprise for them, so we're just gonna kind of. Now you notice I'm just eyeballing, I'm not really looking at coordinates or anything. Yeah, Bones, it's always the deal with all plots, whether it be on Dominion or Exile. It's always money's an issue. You know, you gotta grind up your monies. Let's see, it's like one big one. Don't know. I'm just gonna work until I run out of pieces. I really don't know if I have enough to build this whole island kind of centery thing or not. Let's see. Just trying to figure out why that one's got these poking out and this one doesn't. I think it's because it's got the one end there. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird there, I guess. I'll have to think of something for it. Some excuse as to why there's that funky golden bit sticking out. I'm trying to be kind of minimalist with it. You know, it's always a question of pieces. You know, the fewer you can get by with, the better, obviously. See if I can put in a little bit. See, I don't know why that's smoothed off and then this one's kind of funkied up. How big of a change is that? Let's see. Pretty big inset. Think that'll look weird? That might look weird. It's what it is the bottom of it, that white marble bit is kind of angled. It's not perfectly straight all around, so it's a little off. So debate. Do I push them in and not worry about this little offset here, or do I leave them be and then just come up with something goofy for this? Maybe this is where, you know, I could cover it up with some pictures that maybe is thick enough to block that off. I don't know. Kinda not sure about that. Okay, so yeah, I've got like, wow, I got quite a few of these. I know I stocked up on them, I just wasn't sure just by how much. I'm looking at the back here where it's coming into to make sure it doesn't stick out where I don't want it. That looks it. And back in the crate. Like I said, there's probably a more accurate way of doing this. I mean, obviously you could use CATIA's add-on to calculate it up. I could, maybe build one of these walls and then use it as a set and then just rotate it around, but I don't know. I guess I've gotten lazy with that. I just rather eyeball it all. That's gonna be bothersome too, isn't it? And we're just gonna end up with some weird little bits of the wall there because of the way the shape of it is. See how it's sloped? It's just one of them things. I have to bring this one down because of the slope. That may affect it. It's probably going to make it look not this. Yeah, it's going to be off on the height. Let's see. I'm going to have to patch this side up pretty big, I think. I guess what I'll need to do is have an extra one of these. That way it stays the same height. How bad does it affect over here? It looks okay. Anywho, I can't get these to line up right. It'll work. Sort of, eventually. So yeah, we have the this plot that we're working on, the Valentine plot that we'll be showing probably starting next Monday. Just kind of, show some examples. Why is that offsetting? Of some of the decor that I made special for that particular plot. So we'll go over some of that, but like I said, that'll start next week. I know for those that have, been wanting some holiday decor, might be disappointed that I'm holding off on doing that until after the event. But like I said, this particular plot was specifically built for a guild event, and I'm just kind of I like keeping it as a surprise for them. Let's see. 9214. Of course, I've been slightly depressed a little bit because a lot of my guild, a good many of them have ventured off because they've gotten bored with WildStar. Because we have a good number, even though our guild is a casual guild, we still have quite a few that are raid oriented, and I guess they've just gotten tired of doing the same stuff over and over. And with the free-to-play transition, there was a lot of I don't know, disenchantment with how things were going, and that just means that we've lost quite a few regular players. And wow, that just isn't is that weird. So it's been a little depressing because like right now, usually when I'm logged on, even in the mornings in these odd hours, there's always somebody online, or there was. These days, it's pretty much there's nobody around, and it's like playing in a ghost guild, and it's a little depressing. So, good morning, Maddie. Glad you could join us. So it's one of those things where I'm one of those event makers, so that's my role, and one of my roles in the guild is to create events that um, kind of breaks up the monotony for folks, and it's just gotten less and less. I wouldn't say enjoyable because I enjoy creating and coming up with these little events, but it's disappointing because the attendance has been less and less as the months have gone by, to the point where I've had to cancel. I had some regular things that we did every week or every month, and I've had to put several of those on hiatus because just wasn't enough participation. And so it's always kind of a depressing point uh, for someone like me that works on those kind of things. And you're not even in a guild. Well, I was very hesitant to join one, to be truthful. I've been in guilds in other games and have had both good and bad experiences, but like the last couple of times that I've been in a guild, it's been on the bad side, and it's kind of jaded me to getting into the whole. I mean, there's all that guild drama that can pop up that is just kind of ugly, and I had experienced that firsthand in a guild that I was in before, and it's just not something I wanted to subject myself to. It's not that, you know, well, it's just a frustrating and stressful thing to put yourself in. And I was very hesitant and reluctant to do that here in WildStar, but I found the skill, the Void Runners, and or they found me, one of the two. I think it was kind of a mutual thing. And I was convinced by the guild leader that things would be different in here, and they have been primarily, but as with any game, there's always going to be a point where those that are in the guild will eventually grow tired of the content, or some new shiny game will come along and it will entice them to, venture off. And while they might still play this one from time to time, a lot of their attention is going to be elsewhere. And one of the things I was adamant about when I joined the guild was that I wanted a guild that was all about WildStar. I didn't want to join a gaming community because the gaming community is already kind of uh, like their attention is split, because obviously they're playing multiple games. And it's not that it's obviously, even I myself, I play other games besides WildStar, but the majority of my attention is on WildStar. And for a gaming community, it's more the loyalty isn't there. And I was looking for a guild that was more uh, specifically about WildStar because I knew that was going to be my main focus. And up until the last, I'd say, 6 months or so, that has been the case. It's been very rewarding to be in the guild. and you know, having so many people of like mind and interest, you know, be playing the game regularly and seeing people online all the time, no matter the hour. But things have changed, and I just worry that uh, it's not going to improve, even with all of the announcements being made that it's going to be not enough, if that makes sense. It's just, I don't know, it's a little depressing. But yeah, I think if this was to end, this one, you know, was to dissolve, or they would merge with another guild for the necessity of having enough people to raid, or whatever happens to it, if it becomes anything other than what it is, I would probably just go guildless from here on. I'm just tired of, um, you know, giving tons of time and then, you know, it have it go bye-bye like that. It's just too depressing. Okay, so we need to do another one here. Just to kind of fill that gap in. So we have some weird bits sticking out here and then here. So I don't know what we're going to do with those. Guess I could just try and pull all of it out front. I don't know how that would work over here though. Guess we could just Yeah, it's a good name. I don't remember the uh, full story behind it. They've got a whole little history of where the name come from. As with probably a lot of guilds, they do that. Okay, I don't want to move all of those pieces, so let me try that again. Just want the end piece here. Now I know that it's probably not centered. Oops. You're wondering what's causing that jiggity. It's my camera is zoomed out, and with the ceiling cap there, it causes some issues. What I was going to say is I don't know if this is centered in the room very well. I'm just going to build it first, and then I'll move it all in one piece. So let's see if we can pull this out to hide ugly bits. And what I'm going to do is once we have this bottom one made, I'm just going to replicate it and double it. And hopefully it will touch the ceiling. If not, you know, that's not a big deal. I can figure out something for that. But the main goal is to have that kind of pop down and see. Now, do I leave those or do I cover them up? Let's see if we can. A lot of pieces here. But yeah, because of the shape of this, it's not going to be a perfect little box like I was hoping. Oh, my neck's got a crick in it. Like I slept funny on my pillow. Keeps wanting to crack. That always makes me nervous because I don't like my neck cracking. Okay, let's see if we can just carefully pull this out. May have to trim these with like a pillar or something to, or maybe, yeah, I think I know what that, with some hover part pieces to kind of mimic the corners here. Just put a corner there to break up the wall. I think that'll be the best approach. I could extend this, well, not that one, but I could extend this one out, make it smooth. That'll be all right. I don't know, see that pokes, that's what pokes out the side, so yeah. Just leave it like that. And then I'll add the corners on, and that'll cover up these odd little bits there. Okay, so that's essentially that bit. It looks pretty weird from the top, but so what I'm looking at now is like the distance here and here. Trying to figure out if it looks about the same. You could, if you want to, like measure it, you know, find a decor piece, like for instance, an easy one is a 2x4. And then just, this is what I do sometimes when I'm kind of getting a little mathematical, but not really. It's still just kind of eyeballing. So what I'm going for is like it being butted up against the wall and this part here. So you see the distance there, and then what you do is you kind of see if it's close or how off you are, so you know kind of like where you need to put it. So you can see it's pretty close. It's not that big of a difference, so I'm probably just gonna leave it where it is and call it good. So now the trick is to build this up. And what I will probably do, it looks like it's going to be enough for the double layer. So I'm just going to have to link all of these up. And probably the easiest way would be to try, see if I can do this without really messing myself up, is well, I could probably try like select like one of these center ones and then do like a radius thing. But the problem is I don't want to catch any of the walls either. So just to be safe, I will probably do it just individual pieces. So since we got these two, or those three joined, and then we've got this whole bit, I'm just going to join that to this one. And I'm going to do the same here. So it should be everything but the back side. Yeah. So now I'm going to join all these up. And hopefully, if I get all the pieces that are there, we'll be able to make a set of it and then just replicate it up above. Again, if I didn't have the worry of catching the walls and maybe messing that up, I would probably just use the the radius and then just say link all like items, and that would be the easiest, quickest. But I don't know, I tend to prefer to select mine piece by piece. The only time that's not feasible is if there's pieces like hidden underneath. Oops. I forget one, that one. So there's that one, and then we'll just link that. So let's go up above. So it's a little easier to see what I'm doing here. So now we should have the entire thing selected. So I'm just going to double check and then bring up our handy dandy set manager for all of these. What I really need to do is save these off on some like separate documents so that I can clear up some of these extra bits that I don't really need, but that I don't want to give up, because I can't possibly just keep adding. I don't want to go into the thousands on that thing and have to click through 1,000. Okay, so got the set, the little, I don't know which one to call it, trophy wall. Call it trophy island. I'm going to add the linked set. And then because I know I'm kind of limited in how many pieces I've got, the best way to check to know if you have everything required is to hit the question mark when you're on the set that you're interested in. And it'll give you a little readout in the chat. It will say like you need X amount of gold to purchase everything that might not be in your crate from the vendor, or it'll tell you how much renown you need. Or if it's neither something that you have in your crate or you can't purchase directly from the vendor, it will list the items and say, okay, you need X amount of this or X amount of that. It's very helpful just to make sure, so don't, place a set unless you're positive you have everything. So it looks like I'm going to be 11 trophy gears short. So I'm going to have to wait on building that second level up until I go buy the other 11. Which I'm not going to do right now. So the only thing I can see here is these walls look nice and bright and white, whereas the inner ones look a lot darker. So I don't know if that's to do with just the direction that they're facing according to the light that's here, or what. So I'm going to experiment with, what do we got here? What kind of lighting do I have on hand? Oh, excuse me. I actually got a full night's sleep last night, but I'm still really tired. I mean, usually I'm having to suffer through my husband's snoring. Let's see. I don't want to make the wall like too bright because then it becomes a little awkward to, it hurts the eyes. Notice how the light switches off as soon as you go below a certain like, depending on how far you sink the light in, it just disappears. It's kind of weird. I don't know how that's going to work. Don't want to put a bunch of lights. That's kind of what I'm hoping to avoid, but don't know. See, the one I'm using up there is the chandelier, the orange one. I don't know if I have another one. The XL chandelier, it's more like a giant spotlight. I don't like it at all. It's the look of it is nice, but the light effect that it gives is very harsh, and not really good for this particular setting. So I'm not sure. I'll have to experiment with different lighting to see what would work best. But I guess we can go ahead and move some of these paintings over and get rid of this bit, and then see about fixing these corners here. Excuse me. Let's see. That's what I thought. Little carrot, not part of the set. We will have to remedy that. There we go. You notice I haven't removed any of the backing. This piece here, that travel poster, I could technically remove it. I just haven't. If it becomes an issue where I'm really getting pinched for decor space, I may end up having to kind of go through that, but for now we'll just not hurting anything. Arbitrarily put that in. All right, Bones, have a good day at work. Don't work too hard. I probably will be heading off here soon myself. Just like I said, my son is home this week for vacation, so look at those bricks. Like a big pile of bricks. I actually think I used like several brick piles for that, for this whole thing. I just noticed this is crooked. Wonder why that's messed up. Might have to enlarge this framework a little bit, because I didn't notice that this was sticking out like that. That's not good. Kind of throws everything off, doesn't it? Well. I don't know if everything's, yeah, it looks like everything's joined. Just now noticed this though, I'm gonna have to sort that out. For now though, we're just gonna move it. The trees look funny. The behind the scenes, the move that one. Put it right here. Okay, maybe that's what it was. I had that pulled out too far. Because now you don't see it. Ta-da! It's all fixed. Had me worried there for a little bit. Okay, so what I was thinking about for the corners here is just using some of these. One of the easiest ways to look at this. there goes my stomach, all growling and stuff. Something like just to kind of trim it, kind of like the corners here, and to kind of mostly to cover up the junk, but I think it'll help kind of carry out that architectural something or other. Now, I will say a frustrating part is the door placement here and how the walls are set. I already had these stairs and stuff in place, and I wanted to make it look kind of uniform so it has the same appearance on both sides. But if you do that, then these walls become an issue because this corner here is actually built out a little further than this wall, which I find very odd. I really wish we could have, or I could have just made it all the same, but I would be giving up some of my space here for one, and then the stairways over here wouldn't look the same. Now I know it's a little kind of dorky about these stairs because you can't actually walk up them. You get stuck underneath the little ramp here. And I will probably eventually cover them up with something, but it's just, even, you know, if I didn't have these little ramp staircases or I built them differently, you still might want to have that uniform, you know, distance look, and it's not quite working out right because of the way they've got this doorway set up. Very annoying thing. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. You start with the walls, and if you can get those to kind of look the way you want, then maybe you'll be happy with it. But that entryway is just very awkward, like oddly shaped, and of course the walls themselves are curved, which makes it annoying. I ended up keeping the curve for the most part. I just used these round bits to cover that up. But if you notice, they're not uniform. Again, I eyeball it, so maybe one's a little wider than the other and stuff like that. So it's still kind of awkward because it's like none of it is matchy-matchy. It's all messed up and funky. Like this is all wrong. Needs to be pushed back, actually, I guess. But if I do that, then it's going to be seeping through here. So I'm going to have to like really finagle that quite a bit to get that to work better. It's just, I don't know. I may end up just boxing it completely, keeping it straight corners. It's just I like the dark corners just to kind of break up that white and not have it strictly. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Whoever designed, you know, while I have a lot of love for the art design and the concept of WildStar, there's a lot of little frustrating things like that that you got to think, why did they make it that way? You know, I'm almost positive it's because they didn't think ahead as to how we might be using these kind of rooms. And I think if they would take a look at what we've been doing with them and how we've been manipulating them or having to cover them up, they might rethink how they do things in the future, or as that goes. In my opinion, you know, I could be wrong, but I don't know, I think sometimes whoever put some of this together wasn't quite thinking it through. There we go. I like that. That finishes off the corners nicely. think that'll work out well. I'm just going to have to really figure out how I'm going to do the lighting. If I'm okay with them kind of being on the darkened wall here, or if I'm going to have to add some kind of extra something. Again, it's not anything accurate. I'm just kind of, you'll see me adjusting to get everything to kind of line up, but it might not be exactly aligned with the one on the other end. Just, I don't know. See, look at that. It's not even remotely close. A lot of crookedness going on. But I don't know. That's just how I build. Very confusing. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. I agree. I don't think they expected us to use items the way that we do when we do our like custom building or makeshift or morphine or whatever you want to call it. Um, there's there's some games. I mean, even in like The Simpsons Tapped Out that I play, there's people that build little things to make it look other than what it was meant to be. And I don't know. I think it's just we strive to do something different, and the best way to do that is to make something from scratch that you don't have. And it's always fun to build that. But now that they've seen a lot of the stuff that we do, and you would think they would give us more basic, like the building blocks, or at least the same ones but in different colors, because it would be great if we had these hover part pieces and other textures, because the hover part pieces are so versatile because of the shapes that they have, but you get tired of looking at that brown, the poopy brown, and it would be awesome if we had other versions of that. There they had 90 pieces of building blocks, and they could just extend the life of that if they gave a few different coats of paint on it, give us some primary colors and then some other kind of textures and things. Hey, Soccer Top, glad you could join us. We're just kind of doodling around in the gallery today. In fact, we're probably going to be wrapping it up really shortly here. But yeah, it's I think it would open up so much more. Or if I'm sure they probably can't do it with existing decor any kind of easy way, but if they could give us some kind of a system like they do with costumes where we can repaint them, I would love to be able to repaint decor as well. But you know how that goes. I think that would be kind of probably too much to implement, I would suspect. Yeah, it would be nice to be playing all day, but I've got a house that won't clean itself, so I have to go do that. In fact, I probably should start some laundry, but again, I haven't even gone downstairs yet. I've just been here this morning. Okay, so I think we're going to call it good. I will see about getting the other trophy pieces so that we can build the second level. I'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah, Maddie, I really think that would just extend the life of those pieces just infinitely, because so many of us are already using them pretty regular in our instructions and things. I just think, whoops, looks like I got an error. So I'm going to use it as my clue that I need to be logging off here. But No, I haven't. I don't think so. I will see about dropping by. Remind me again what the name is of that one. I've got like too many notes on my desk and I get them mixed up. But see, got like post-its everywhere. And then there's like notes on top of notes. And then of course I have horrible chicken scratch writing, which I can't read half the time. Oh, cheeky. Yeah, I think I actually have that plot listed for not this week, but the next time I visit the Dominion one. I think I'm gonna have to double check because I've got like I mentioned earlier, I've got like a whole bunch of Dominion now in the queue to tour, and I'm having to decide who's gonna go first and who's gonna go next because I don't want to, put them all on the one show because then I'll have nothing for the next time. But I'll definitely. I know I recognize the name. I think it was Ductor that mentioned it. Yours and someone else's. Like I said, I got like tons of notes here, like too many. I got like lists of decor that I'm keeping an eye out for. I've got fab kit places listed. Like I have one that I was visiting for the boxing fab kit. I got their name written down. I've got too many names on my papers. But anyway, yeah, I'll definitely be touring that one eventually. I'm pretty sure on the queue list. Let me see. House tours queue, Dominion. Yeah, I've got it on the list, but it's further down. Like I said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With Cheeky's in there, that would be 8 homes, and I don't want to do all 8 tomorrow. So I'm going to have to pick and choose which one will be tomorrow and which ones will carry over to the next day or the next Dominion version. So it'll be, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be 2 weeks from now. Oh, we'll see. Maybe it'll be good that it's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Then that'll give you time, to get cracking on there and finish that bunker. Because yeah, I hate, some houses are just too amazing to pass up, even if their bunker isn't finished. Um, but it's disappointing because people are thinking, ooh, it must be awesome inside if it's awesome outside. And then you go in and go, well, it's not quite finished. We'll have to come back later. But yeah, get to work on that, and then we'll get yours the next time we do the Dominion side. But I've got some really nice ones picked out for tomorrow. There's some interesting ones I'm hoping folks will enjoy. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up because, like I said, I just got a nice big old fat error. You can't see it on the screen in there, but I've got one blinking at me saying something about, I don't know what it says. It's in Flemish, so I don't really understand what it's saying. I tell my computer to speak English to me, and it still says it in Flemish. Well, like I said, I'm very horrible at landscaping, and I'm always impressed with what people can do and make it look natural. And Maddie's a big one on that, and a few others that I visit their homes frequently. Katia is really awesome with the getting that distance stuff down. It's like I cannot. It's like the plot that I've been doing for the Valentines. I hate the tree line, but I'm not very good at coming up with a good way to make it look natural and as if it was, meant that way. So yeah, I'm good with little tiny stuff. I don't know if Maddie has uh, a Dominion one. I have a Dominion one, but he's got nothing on his plot. It's embarrassing, but he has no money, so. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. Again, apologies for last week and everything. It's just been super busy, super hectic, I guess. I hate to say hectic because it's really not. It's just there's been little things that come up, and it's just kind of messed up my whole schedule. And in fact, all last week, pretty much, I hardly ever had a good chance to sit down and play in WildStar. I've been doing other things. But if it comes again, just know that I will do everything humanly possible to make sure that we do the house tours on the Wednesday. So if nothing else, we'll have that. But the other stuff is just kind of sometimes real life takes priority, and it it just doesn't work out that you can spend all day in the game. But tomorrow, again, we'll be doing Dominion house tours, so be sure and join for that. If you don't care about anything else that we show on this stream, that's definitely one that's worth taking a look. Because one, it's nothing I'm doing; it's other people's work, and two, it's just a way to kind of check out what is there. Especially if you don't do the random public home visiting. All of these homes that I tour, they're at the time at least are open to the public. So it's a good way to kind of see what's out there, and maybe to spur some ideas. Another reminder that the Nexus Construction League, I think I have that right, NCL, is currently hosting their first annual housing competition, and this Sunday, February 14th, is the deadline to submit your home for that competition. It is open to entity only, so keep that in mind. But they've already said that in the future, which I assume, their next annual competition, they're going to strive to have that open to both regions. It's just there's a lot of logistics involved in making that work smoothly and fairly and everything. So, give them a little slack. I'm just happy that people are continuing to promote WildStar Housing. So check that out. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing all of the participants. I know they're planning to do videos of the winners, I think. If nothing else, we'll probably see a lot of screenshots and stuff. So that'll be fun and exciting to see what everybody comes up with. I don't think they had a set kind of theme, so it's basically anything goes. So it should be a good smorgasbord of ideas and themes to look at. A little disappointing that, as far as I can tell, we aren't having a Valentine kind of event unless they're going to do like a little, just a release of some of the holiday decor that we noticed. But like I said, this weekend is my guild's Valentine's Day event. So the plot that I was working on for that, I will be showcasing that next week. We'll talk about some of the bits that I made and how I made them, and show you the items that I used, and all of that kind of stuff. So if anybody has questions about that stuff, I'll be happy to share. But in the meantime, I think Katya's beach house, I think it's geared towards Valentine's. I think one of the scenes she's got put together really lovely is for, like, if people want to host some weddings or something, it would be a good venue for that. I do know there was a honeymoon kind of thing on Dominion's side, but I can't seem to find it anymore. The plot owner had it public for a while, and then they closed it for several months, and then I guess I removed the name and didn't keep track of it, and now I don't remember what it was called. But anyway, so yeah, I put the call out for Valentine related, lovey-dovey places, but nobody's actually come forward to say, hey, mine is kind of specific to that. So I'm just gonna, tour some regular houses tomorrow and call it good. Maybe next year we'll get something a little bit more. Maybe Carbine will do some kind of a Valentine thing. But anyway, So thanks again for joining. Looking forward to continuing on our regular schedule, barring any kind of real life stuff popping up. But I hope you guys have fun. Looking forward to the new content. As soon as it becomes available on the PTR, I will definitely be um, diving in to check it out, at least try and find some of the new stuff that we can show off and preview for those that are curious. Um, but in the meantime, we'll just be hanging out here and checking out other people's homes on Wednesday. So until then, I wish you all a good day and see you later. Bye bye.